Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Health and Wealth Show. I'm Henry Aaron Westbrook, and today we've got a very special guest with us in the building. We've got DJ Bonics with us today, right now, in the flesh. Some of you may have seen him on stage with Wiz Khalifa. Some of you may have seen him on the internet, on YouTube. Whatever the case is, you might have never even heard of him. And that's why I wanted him to get on this platform, because he's somebody that you should know. DJ Bonics, man, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing over there? You staying safe during this quarantine?
Yeah, man. I'm actually hanging out with my dad right now, so I'm in his office/closet. But things are good during the quarantine, man.
Wow. Shout out to your dad, man. Where's that? Is that in LA or
See, in Philadelphia.
are you in Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
East Coast. Okay. So that's actually awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. You're in the East Coast, because that's kind of one of my first questions for you, man. You're from the East Coast originally, is that right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you grew up where, in Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania over there?
Philadelphia. I was born in Philly, and then up in Philly, and I went to college in Pittsburgh. That's how I ended up in Pittsburgh. Yep.
You went to college in Pittsburgh. Wow. What was it like growing up on the East Coast, man? And just walk us through kind of your come up.
Growing up on the East Coast, the East Coast vibes, man. Philly's a powerful musical city, city with a lot of music history. And, my first generation, my parents are from the Philippines, so they, met here in the East Coast and had me in the East Coast. So I grew up in the East Coast, and yeah, being able to travel the world and kind of understanding what the East serves and what they have for people versus what other countries have is very cool, because the East Coast just kind of has its own vibe, New
Right.
York obviously is the capital of the world per se, so kind of just goes from there. And Philly is like one of those first cities that that is right outside of New York City. So there's always been creators and people, whether they're from Philly or New York or East Coast is where I guess America started. So there's a lot of trend setting coming off from this side of the country.
Big facts, man. And just real quick, take us back. Was music something that you always had a passion for, just growing up? I mean, how did you find that?
I always liked music. I wasn't like a music savant or, growing up or anything, but, I grew up around it. My dad is definitely musically inclined. Filipinos in general, they love to sing. So, I was always around it. And I kind of discovered it, my version of it, going to school in Pittsburgh, learning how to DJ and that whole journey.
Wow, okay. So you just had a natural exposure to
I
it.
mean, it was, I don't know. I mean, natural, I guess so. I mean, you're a product of your environment. So, and I enjoy music. It's something that I felt was, always present in my life. So the fact that I do it now years later is pretty rewarding.
Wow, man. Okay. So when you were growing up, man, what was your vision? Did you have a vision?
I mean,
I
don't know.
You're still growing up. You're still in your prime.
What age group are you talking about? I mean, I don't know.
Let's say when you came to the age of reason, when you realized, because I mean, dude, you've done some monumental things, some prestigious things, and you've reached some goals, and I'm sure you've accomplished things that you dreamed about. So it's like, at what point when you hit this age of reason did you decide, all right, I'm going to do this, and that, or I'm going to go for this, and that, or did things kind of just stumble into your lap?
Right. I mean, no, nothing just stumbled into my lap. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to do the work in order to get to where you are. So
Okay.
I put a lot of work in. I put a lot of work in, and
talk about that work ethic, man. Let's talk about your work ethic, dude, because I mean, that's key. There's a lot of people who do music, who do DJing, but to get in that spot, to get into where you've been, to connect and then to elevate the way you have, I would imagine it requires a unique work ethic.
I mean, man, if it's something that you enjoy, you're never really looking at it as work.
Mm.
I think a lot of people don't really understand to the full degree of when you're really passionate about something, it's not being busy, it's just living the life that um, you want to put yourself in front of that joy of putting yourself, when you understand that things are processes, you put yourself through the necessary steps so that you could be fail proof. So, I mean, I guess people would look from the outside in that I have a great work ethic, but it's stuff that I enjoy. I was able to lock something that I love. I was able to have something I love lock me into a sort of schedule. And I think that's super key because, you know, having to discipline yourself is not always easy. But when you have something, eventually you create something that you love, to be able to create that for you, I think is a dope place to be.
Awesome, man. I got nothing but love and positivity for you, dude. For real, I do music, so just following your journey, as a fan, as a supporter, it's been really cool just to see the evolution, man. And up to this point, dude, what has been kind of some of the best highlights, some of the best memories, or key things that you would just like the best experiences that you kind of reflect over?
I mean, that's a pretty broad question, but
Is there anything that stands out in particular?
I mean, just every level of it stands out and to its own degree, and every situation has its own backstory. So, I mean, there's a ton, quitting my full-time job to tour with Wiz, being able to be on the radio full-time in Philadelphia, where eventually coming back to Philadelphia to do radio, being on the radio in Los Angeles on Power 106, quitting my job to tour with Wiz, deciding that DJing was better than college, even though I finished college, but priority wise, DJing was always that first. So, I mean, there's a lot of moments, man. It's a lot to choose from.
So that's good. That's good. That's good that you got a ton. You got a whole lot of just positive moments that you can sit back and cherish, man. That's fire, to be honest. What advice would you give to people who have, similar ambitions or aspirations as you?
I mean, man, it's about, for me, and this is like, it's different for everyone else because people have to do whatever things they have to do, but keep it real, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, had to, I never had to do anything that wasn't out of my character. I never had to, buy followers or buy views or do things that, I built, real relationships, man. A lot of people are like, let's network. But I always say that, networking is for computers, and building relationships is for humans. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, real recognize
Yes.
real, to be honest with you. And you see people who really put in the real work, and people that are willing to just kind of be the age they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's cool if you're not the shit at the moment. It's cool if not everyone knows who you are, but you can build to that. So I think people have this ideal where they need to like automatically have certain numbers or have certain things that make them respectable. But what makes people real respectable is work, word of mouth, and really being a part of the thread of whatever your passion is. Would as far as DJing is concerned, because I could speak about DJing, if they wrote a book about DJing in Minnesota or Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, what part would I have played? And so that to me is doing it for the culture. Do you know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
I feel like that I don't really brag about, or I don't like put myself on a pedestal, but most recently I've been pretty satisfied with what I've accomplished in the game, and I know myself more than I ever have. So it's a relief to me that I didn't have to. I definitely had to go against the grain, and if I listened to everybody, I wouldn't be who I am. But I feel like everyone has something truly unique about them, and let that be what stands out, not necessarily trying to um, be what other people perceive. I mean, there's definitely like a gauntlet you have to put yourself through so people take you somewhat seriously. But after that, man, there's a lot of faking the funks out there, and there's a lot of people that just want clout or noise or want to stand next to people but didn't earn it. So you know what I'm saying? It's been a that would be my advice, man. Is like, yo, keep it real and be passionate about what you're doing.
1,000%, man. So right there, you just touched on a whole lot. If you guys didn't catch that, I hope you're taking notes. I mean, he just run the video back, run the podcast back. You're talking about being able to listen to yourself, being real, keeping things organic, being authentic. That's definitely
Right.
key. Yo, what you made me think about too is just the evolution of technology, man, because you're talking about social media and all of this. How has your perception been with the shift, with everything from MySpace to Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, and how it's been implemented?
I mean, it's a necessarily evil at some points, but the evil part is real for people, because I think that people have better relationships with their cell phone than they do with real people, and it's a necessary evil. If you're able to use it to your advantage, cool. But if it drives you emotional and lets you put yourself out there in ways that are hurtful for your brand or your business or even as a person, then you put too much faith into social media. So it's all about how you use it, man. The pen is mightier than the sword, and sometimes the internet could be a good place for creators, and also at the same time could destroy someone's career.
That's wisdom. Powerful right there. That was powerful. A moment of silence after that. Man. All right, so right now, man, what do you got going on? You know what I'm saying? Where are you at? In your journey. What's going on with you?
I feel like I'm on like stage 4 or 5 of my journey, and it's really pivoting from wanting. I used to look at my career as like climbing this ladder, and I'm going to get somewhere, and I want to get to a certain point. But recently, with everything that's going on and just my feelings changing about how I'm treating myself differently in the last few years, it's about being happy now. You know what I mean? And finding every day for me to really enjoy, and not necessarily be on a full-time grind sort of mentality. You know what I mean? I think that's like kind of what the 80s, 90s cats brought. The newer cats kind of brought that self-care vibe. And I think it's a little mix of both. So, I mean, I'm still doing radio, waiting till they open up the world to tour with Wiz. And, I got some personal projects for myself that, just like, trying to get better at certain things personally rather than just concentrating. Like I build enough value and I know my skill set enough that I can insert myself in whatever capacity. So I'm actually using this downtime. I mean, my standard is pretty high as far as like what I do for myself every day, but I'm making sure that I doing a lot for myself during this time. And so, some of it's self-care and some of it's sharpening the tool and being prepared to figure out how to make money during this time. Because there's different ways to make money now,
Yeah, definitely, man. There are, for sure. So has I mean, I don't know, because I don't have as much insight as you do into the radio world and the music world. Has the current economic situation affected, the way things transgress and operate in your industry?
Of course it has. People's routines are different. Radio listenership is really based on routine listening. I go to work and then I listen to the radio while I'm at work. I go home and I listen to the radio at home. I'm at the office and we have the radio on at the office. So it certainly affected people's routines the same way it affects people's lives. But, some radio stations have rose to the occasion, while others have actually suffered. And we'll see where it ends up after the world opens back up again. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, we'll always be there. I mean, now, but a lot of big big industry radio stations, iHeart radios and Ziff, they operate a little differently than independent radio.
Okay. And we could go ahead and give a shout out to 95.3. Yeah. Is that what we're talking about? 95.3,
Yep.
95.3 KLLY, Killy. What do we, no?
No, no.
No? Okay. Because I'm looking at a few different stations, man. I'm looking at, because you're a midday host, you're the DJ. What do you enjoy doing most, man? Do you enjoy talking or making music? 95.3 Twin Cities. I'm looking at your profile right now, my guy. What's the actual
Yeah,
name of the station?
Go Radio.
Make sure we get that so we can tag it right here, man. I'm looking at, wow, this is incredible, dude. So do you like making music more? Do you like actually just DJing more? Or is it the harmony?
Well, it's changed in different eras, but I actually like, the best way I can really say is like connecting with people with my voice, with music as a platform, because it's hard to just speak from the soapbox or just think that people.
Let me
What's
just pull
that?
this up right here. 95.3 Go Radio, man. So this is official. I'm gonna pull this up right here. Yeah, my mistake. I had the other station up. Shout out to everybody in radio. Yo, man, real quick too. That's fire. Yo, let's talk about the importance of radio, man. Because it's been around and it's still around. And it's a powerful vehicle and medium, right? For so many things, obviously for messages and businesses and things like that. So where do you see radio even going, in the next few years or even
I mean,
decades?
the thing about, people think radio is going to die, but radio survived the vinyl, CDs, DVDs, MP3s. People are obviously streaming music now, but it's just more distractions. TikTok wasn't something that TikTok's another, no, I don't want to say distraction, but, in this case, how I'm saying it is, it's just another thing. It's another choice. That's the word I want to use. It's just another choice. So radio suffers because people have other choices. Also, radio suffers because people could be on demand with their music, but your playlist on your Spotify or whatever doesn't have a personality. It won't congratulate you if your city won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So radio for me, and the radio that I really support is live and local, and really that celebrates their personalities.
That's awesome, man. If you guys haven't already, make sure you do yourself a favor. Check out 95.3 Go Radio. Get tuned in with DJ.
Wikipedia is like definitely not updated as well, but
we're gonna talk about.
But it's pretty good right now, I guess. I
You
haven't
see my
looked at
screen
it.
right here, brother? Can you see this?
Yep.
How's this look on your end, man? Because it's clear as an HD. Because it's looking HD on my side.
Looks like a website, man.
Looks like a website. You guys go ahead and do some research on my man. If you haven't already, do your research. See who I'm talking to, man, and then see why he's a heavy hitter in the industry, why he's somebody you should be tapping into, subscribe to, and just following, because there's not many people who can really speak on certain circumstances like you can, man. So going forward, man, what would you say has made you so what has helped you become so great, bro?
I mean, I'm just trying to stay honest to what my mission is, which is to do what I love, to make sure whatever I put myself in front of is joy. Understanding that the journey's not always on highs, and now even further after kind of touring the world and being on the radio in many different markets and DJing almost everything, I really feel like now, for me personally, it's time to like help people and show them how to love themselves and to get to a place. I mean, I feel like I'm in a good place as far as where I am, physically, mentally, spiritually, and my career.
Make sure you follow my guy DJ Bonics, 100%, man. So Let me just ask you a cool question, dude. Who do you listen to, man? Who are some of your favorite artists, man? You know, because you got, I'm sure, an eclectic ear. You got a
I
problem.
mean, man, it spans a lot, and it just depends what year you're asking me. Right now, man, I've been listening to a lot of like jazz, really, and I've been really
Okay.
stuck on this dude Kamasi Washington a lot. Like, just been listening to him on my leisure. As far as releases come out, I really like what Run the Jewels is doing. That track they have out right now called "Ooh La La," which is really dope. I'm into like Kate Trinata, and I'm into Anderson .Paak, big Anderson .Paak fan. But as far as mainstream music is concerned, I like I like a lot of the shit that's on the radio right now. Truthfully, I think it's pretty good. But me personally, I listen to a lot of podcasts and listen to a lot of Kamasi Washington right now. I'm in a very Kamasi Washington phase that's been around for a while, so it's kind of all I really been listening to.
That's
Which
awesome.
is kind of disappointing answer for a dude who's supposed to know a lot about music, but sometimes I need a break from it, man. I could tell you all about hits and all that, but I like Thundercat's album. I don't know if you know Thundercat. Thundercat put a dope album out. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
recently. Man, I'm trying to think. Wiz dropped a project recently too that was really dope.
Yeah. Awesome, bro. Hey, how was your Mother's Day, man? How's the family? How is your family life, man? Is it? I'm looking at your page, man. Is there anything like in your family like that you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know. Nothing strikes me. I love my family. I went to visit them despite what people thought about seeing your family during this COVID time. So, that's how much I love my family. And, they worked hard and life wasn't perfect, but, forgiveness is a part of this journey. So I think that's
What,
important to mention.
what's been the hardest thing, man, about this whole come up for you, man? Like the biggest struggle you face, man.
I mean, me personally, I mean, my struggle is watching people argue and not coming together during this. I mean, obviously, we're coming together with the first responders and whatever, but there's definitely people who have become even more deeply divided in this country, and that really weighs heavy on my heart.
That's good, man. So you actually have quite the world view. Where's been the top places you traveled, my man? Like you've seen so many places, I would imagine. Where's some of the best
Yeah.
places you've seen, the coolest places you've
Man,
experienced?
I mean, off the top of my head, like Colombia is a great place. Brazil, I really had fun in Japan, which I didn't get to spend that much time there. Um, Man, every country kind of has its own little magic. I mean, even fucking Hawaii is an amazing place, man. If you've never been to Hawaii, shit.
Sheesh. DJ Bonics, 95.3, go. Telling them, man, telling them. You out here, man. You out here winning the game, bro. So right now, dude, it's a crazy, unprecedented time in history, and it's important that we keep on working, that we keep on thriving. What have you been doing to stay motivated, bro? Or what do you do to stay happy? Because you said, your happiness is something you're focusing on.
I mean, I
What
just
kind
try
of
to
things do you
take
do?
care of. I mean, just my finding joy. I mean, I don't need motivation to make myself happy anymore. I understand
Wow.
what makes me happy, and it includes the hard work. It includes paying my debt to the blessings. It includes not being hard on myself. But it also includes like knowing the work I got to put in, the time that I have to put in for certain things. I understand what time is money more than ever because time is so precious, man. You only have so much time. So you really hope that you can be engaging with passionate people. You know what I mean?
1,000,000% on that. So that makes me wonder, man, how you fill in the blank on this? DJ Bonics, 95.3 Go Radio. If I'm gonna ask you this question, man, if I'm gonna put you in the spotlight for this one, no pressure, bro. I want to hear from you, man. Blank is the most important thing in life because
Love.
love. Woo!
Yeah.
You heard it from the man right there. Love.
What's more important than that, man?
That's fire, man. That's definitely key right now. A lot of people are missing that element. You know, they're missing that aspect in so many parts of their life, man. So I appreciate that answer. I really do. You didn't even have to think twice. You didn't have to hesitate.
Nah, of course not, man.
You knew that one. That was good, bro. That was fire. Good for you, man. So you seem like you're in a really peaceful state. You know, you really seem like you're down to earth, and you're at this point where you're not content, but you're more just. You seem chill, bro. You know, you seem chill. You're not really like stuck in the grind like you were saying, right? It's just kind of how it is. You're kind of just at this ease.
Nah, I mean, there's a lot to do, man. You know, there's a lot to do. I got a lot of work.
A lot to do. Wow,
I'm on the radio every day. I got a lot of shit to prepare for. You know, I got to do my daily mind, body, soul kind of checks every day. And so, you know, I'm chilling.
How do you balance everything, bro? How do you do it? Like, how do you balance how do you do it all, man? Because you do have a lot going on. You know, you do.
I mean, you just have to set yourself up and also not be so hard on yourself, you know, set yourself up so the way that you can work is, and you know, and it's different though when you're coming out of your journey, like coming out of college and then right out of college, like you just got to put the fucking work in. You got to you can't worry about the fucking getting accolades and shit, man. You can't worry about that. You got to just you got to be undeniable. You got to be good. You got to be, you know, if you know, you gotta see the proof in the pudding, man. Google me. You know what I'm saying? I've been around.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't even. You really don't. To me, you don't need an introduction. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, I'm still look, dude. I'm not like a millionaire. I'm not like a millionaire or anything like that. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like a fucking god in the game. I just know that. You know that I have a circle of influence, that people follow my journey and they trust and they want to hear what I say. You know, I'm not for everybody, which is understandable, and I'm still paying my dues and trying to find my own way. So I appreciate all the love you're giving me, but you know what I mean, there's still a lot of ground to be made, and you know, I'll forever be a student.
That's good, man. That's humility. That's humble, bro, and that's why I appreciate just being able to connect with you, man, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about growth. It's about learning. It's about improvement. You know, and that's what our show is founded. That's the premise of this. You know, the Health and Wealth Show. We want to talk about what it takes to be, you know, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and any other type of way, prosperous and healthy. You know, and then that's going to translate and transmit into, you know, your wealth and all the other things you want to manifest in your life. So, man, what has been some of the things you've had to work on for yourself, though? Like, what have been some of the things you've had to overcome as a man or as just growing up? You know, anything that you had to mental shifts or
I mean, you know, habits? Everything. Yeah, I mean, all types of shit. I mean, go ahead.
You know, just because or even sacrifices, man. What kind of sacrifices have you had to, you know, had to make?
I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I was aware of the sacrifice, but sometimes when you go too hard in your craft, you forget about health. You forget about wealth. You forget about well-being, relationships, and all that. So I would say, man, keep working on the balance, because when you are in balance, when you're in balance, or, you know, you're able to respond accordingly. When you're not in balance, you respond emotionally. And so, you know, I did sacrifice some of my health and some mental being just to keep going hard and having to keep proving something about DJing, which wasn't necessarily the wrong choice. It just was imbalanced. So you're going to get the imbalanced result, which means, you know, I'm pretty good at what I do, but at the same time, I'm catching up with certain things that I didn't do for myself.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Okay. Well, let me see here, because you bring up a lot of things, man, you know, and one thing I'm always wondering about people, you know, who like, for example, like you, who have an influential circle, you know, I wonder is there anything that you would say that the masses are kind of sleeping on, or they don't know, or just the general population is just should know? Not on some conspiracy type of vibe, but just on something like, you know, because there's social media, there's the concept of being real and
Yeah,
street
everything
smart.
here, everything that anyone needs is right here. You know what I mean? Like all the extra external validation, the material things, the ego, the clout, that none of that matters. And a lot of people think that's what matters, and they want people to see them a certain way rather than actually feel a certain way. So I would say, like, stop trying to gain validity from things and people, but really truly love yourself and really look into yourself as how authentic can you be, and understand that you're always going to be in a process and a journey. So, not to be hard on yourself and not to have to, you're not competing against anybody. Um,
Big time, big time.
so
We're talking about intellectual IQ, EQ. I'm glad you talked about, the balance between intellectual and, emotions, and being able to recognize, when you have to apply intellectual and emotional reasoning to certain situations. Bro, the validity thing though, that's key right now. So many people do chase appeasement or acceptance or some type of response from everybody else. Do you think though that because people are so not thirsty for clout, but do you think that because people are in this new age where it's so easy to get attention, do you think that it could be a good thing? I mean, could there be any benefits to being able to, put yourself on or get a new following or create your own lane now versus, it being harder than it was, X amount of years ago?
I mean, yeah, but that's only if you're being honest about it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there could be, and justify the means, but real recognize real. Like, I know DJs who make themselves look like that they are lit and have all this shit, and then you see them live and it's not good. The same way where you have built a profile that you are some sort of something, and then when you actually engage or whatever, it's not what they posed it to be. So it happens all the time. I mean, is there a benefit in that? I mean, maybe if it gets someone faster and it gets them into a door where they feel like, sure, but that's on that person. So yeah, I mean, technology also helps people be discovered, I guess. But don't, you can only make a first impression once. So it's not a race. It's a marathon, it's not a race. It's like build the legend. Build the legend.
What kind of legacy are you looking to create, man? What kind of legacy would you want to leave, or what are you looking to remember?
I want people to remember me because I shared and I gave love, and I wasn't always perfect, and I was able to put my humilities out there, and I was able to show, use my platform to help bring people together. And that's it, man. I want people to look at my life and say, hey, I can be bold and operate from love and use my platform too to show love. So it's really important. But that's it, man. I want people to know that I lived, that I didn't live in fear, and that I truly loved DJing. It brought me to where I was, touring with Wiz, and brought me all around the world, and continuing to be a part of Wiz's team has been a great way for me to travel the world and meet all types of people. So, man, I want the legacy is passion in action.
Passion and action. Whew. 3 words right there. That's key, man. Let me ask you, man, since you bring it up and it's relevant, what is it like, being around Wiz Khalifa, man, touring with artists of that caliber? I mean, you're right there side by side. What is that experience?
It's like, it started natural. So it's not like a thing where I was like shoved into it. it was my hip hop dream, man.
Yes.
I watched hip hop and I put myself in crowds to watch it, so then I could learn from it, and then I could practice it, and then I could use it when I was on stage with Wiz. So it's dope, man. It's because then you're around a lot of people who operate in the same way. You know, they worked hard and really had to do the hard work to get where we were and we are. And you know, it's again, Wiz is still figuring out ways to be innovative in his career. So it's been an awesome adventure, man. And it's just a testament to the work I put in and the support that I had, you know?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well said too. So let me check our time, man, because I know your time is valuable. You got things to do. How you doing on
Yeah, I
time
could.
right now?
A couple more questions be cool. I gotta probably peace out of here in a minute.
Okay. Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah,
Once
cool.
again, make sure you
Yeah.
guys follow DJ Bonics at DJ Bonics. That's at DJ Bonics. Everything will be down below in the description.
Thank you,
Man,
man. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
100%, dude. Thanks for your time. Seriously. You know, it's all love, man. And when I look at you, you know, and I look at your story, your testimony, man, you're a real person. You know what I'm saying? And I believe a lot of times people get caught up in the whole scheme of things with the media, and then kind of like what you're saying, where it's like they lose the fact that, you know, people, you got to be a real person. You know, you're just not a regular guy, but you're just a regular person, you know, and that's what anybody is. You know, people forget that. How has it been for you, man, kind of dealing with fame, or to, you know, dealing with just the notoriety that you get?
I mean, you know, it's cool. It's rewarding. I mean, it's not overwhelming. Sometimes in my career, it's been overwhelming in others. You know, you walk down the street or whatever, and sometimes in another city, another country. So it's been cool, man. It just makes me know that that people are paying attention, and maybe that people really genuinely fuck with what we do. And so that's been really cool, man. It hasn't ever been overwhelming, or you know, sometimes people might want to like take you or slow you down or try to, hey man, you know, listen to my rap song or whatever, and you know, they're not really authentic about it. So sometimes that shit will slow you down, but you know, so those are small prices to pay to know that I'm impacting people.
Yeah, 100%. So you got a tour coming up with Wiz Khalifa. It's in the works, you said, when things open up. Is that facts?
I mean, I'm sure we're gonna perform when COVID's over, so I don't think anything in the chamber right now, but
Is there?
you know,
Okay. Is there
but
anything that, what about a what?
but no, I'm just saying, but I'm sure you know that touring it will be hopefully back to normal at some point, man. I can't wait to get back out there at least one or two more times, you know.
Yeah. What's it like being on stage, man, in front of X amount of people? Like, what's your biggest crowd been? Do you have a number for that?
I mean, probably like 75,000. I think we played in Hyde Park
Uh, uh,
in London, and that was crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That was crazy. And a lot of this has been
cool.
documented, right? Recorded, so you can go back, you can check out, you know, your footage. You've been in part of the day-to-day series and all of that. So I mean, you've
Yeah,
really built this. You've really built this, man. You know, and it's
I mean, it's living and breathing, man. People are capturing
that's,
it as well. You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
there are
that
times where I'm just doing me and someone has it on camera the same way with Wiz, you know, and then sometimes I make
right.
sure I alley-oop content that I want people to see about myself. So, you know,
Yes, yes, okay. So I mean, with that though, do you ever get not scared, but do you ever, you know, like how do you deal with privacy, man? Do you have privacy issues?
I mean,
Because
yeah, I definitely take my privacy seriously to a point where sometimes it affects my relationships because, you know, dating people in the past, they'd be like, well, why don't you post about me or something? And that's just not me. I normally don't really post about my family. It's only something that I've been doing the last few years, like, because I'm not really, you know, hey, here's hey, stranger, here's my here's my mom. I don't know, you know, and I have a bigger audience than a normal user, I guess. So people can like really see into your personal life, and I really like to have my personal space and have my personal relationships. I've been in situations where I would have meet up with someone just to maybe catch up, and they're walking in on live, and what are you doing? They're like, oh, I just want to show people that I'm like networking with you. I was like, well, this isn't for them. This is for us. You know what I'm saying? So just that clout factor, man. People be really wanting that clout.
That's crazy. And let me just set the tone, man. Let me set it clear. You know, my only intention is truly to, you know, put you in the position to shine right now. You know, that's really, granted, I'll probably get, you know, a little bit of clout off of the tag, but dude, I really just like chopping it up with successful people, man. So I really am grateful for you to, you know, have given me this time. You know, my audience,
Go
they'll
ahead.
learn, you know, it, I know that you have things to share, and I know that you're part of your mission, I'm sure, is to give back. So that's what this is really about, man. You know, that's really the only true motive I have here, you know, and hopefully, you know, just leave a good impression on each other and the world, you know, and then 5 years from now, man, you see where I'm at, see where you're at, you know, it's crazy because, I mean, look back 5 years ago, you know, do you ever surprise yourself, man, about your progress?
I mean, I'm more surprised about the progress of myself in 5 years than my actual career. That's like how much I love myself more than worrying about if I'm the best DJ or not. You know, I used to want to be the best DJ, and then later in life, I mean, at least for me, I would be the best me, because that's way more healthier than just reaching for something that really doesn't necessarily, there's not a DJ gig that's going to make you feel like that you completed the DJ fucking video game, you know? So I don't know. I think, but that kind of mentality is what really helped my work ethic, wanting to be the best. So that's not a mistake. It's just cool that it shifts later in life, you know?
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, right now, just what's a normal day look like for you, dude? Or
I
is it
mean,
always
normal days are different, man. You know, work from home sometimes. I work from at the studio. Currently working in from my mom's house in Philly rather than Minnesota. So there, you know, it changes. Some days I wake up, I got an interview with Killer Mike, or some days it's just a radio day. Some days I got to DJ events, or some days I got to fly overseas. So, you know, but normal day right now is a little bit of work during you know, a lot of work during the week. You know, health, you know, running. I like to run. You know, smoke some weed. It's fun too.
that's a vibe? Love the openness, love the honesty.
Thanks, man.
Dude,
I
you're awesome.
appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to see what your journey is. I feel like your journey just started. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it real, man. And I appreciate you seeking all this knowledge and shit. So I like, you know, I can appreciate that.
Definitely, man. 1,000% on that. Key takeaways from this podcast: keep it real. Love is the answer.
Mm.
Balance, balance it
That's
out,
right.
and that's just the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for
Mm.
tuning into another episode of the Health and Wealth Show. Until the next episode, stay happy, stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay blessed, and focus on success. And when you see us drop that next one, you already know what to do. Tap in. DJ Bonics.
I appreciate you, man. Make sure you follow me at DJ Bonics. Listen to Go Radio every day, 10 to 3 Central Time. I'm on every day, mixing live at noon. Look out for, you know, new content on the Instagram, and look out for us on tour with Wiz Khalifa. So we appreciate you, you know, tapping in, and I appreciate you having me a part of your journey, man. Thank you.
Boom, straight like that. 100.
Let me
Peace.
know when it drops, all right?
Got you, my guy. I'm gonna stop.